Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're here to do one of my favorite videos to do at the end of the year, which is all these top lists. And today, specifically, we're talking about my top 10 favorite games on the Nintendo Switch that released in 2022. Now keep in mind, when I make this list, for those of you guys who don't know me, I'm not the biggest RPG fan. I've never played Xenoblade Chronicles at all because I'm just not an RPG fan. That's why you don't really see those games on here. So of course that game's not going to appear on this list, along with other RPGs that may have released on the Switch. It's just not my jam. I usually don't play those games, so I just wanted to give that caveat at the beginning of the video so I don't get slammed in the comments immediately like, hey, where's Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Well, that's why it's not here, because I haven't played it. It's as simple as that. And obviously not a game that I plan on playing because it's just not my type of game. But I am a really big fan of Nintendo Switch exclusives, so another caveat here is that my Switch most of the time is being used to play games that are exclusive to the Switch, especially now when I have a Steam Deck and stuff like that. I usually play most of my games on either Xbox, PS5, or PC, which leaves my Switch as being, you know, an exclusives machine. Because I obviously play indies and all that other kind of stuff on the Steam Deck at this point. The only thing I use my Switch for is either exclusives or games that have really good local multiplayer that I want to play with 4 or 5 or 6 people that only the Switch can do. So that's where I buy those games. But other than that, I just wanted to give that caveat out front so you guys know why this list is so heavily fronted with exclusives. Well, because that's exactly what I play the Switch for. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
So the first one here coming in at number 10 is Kirby's Dream Buffet. So this game is kind of like a battle royale game. That's at least how it's described. You're basically using all these Kirby characters. You can play 4 players, either local wireless or online, or 2 players locally on a Switch. And it's a ton of fun. You're basically racing through all of these different Kirby courses and trying to get to the finish line before your opposing member. And you're grabbing all of this different, fruit and stuff like that and desserts. It's really fun. And then you play mini games at the end as well. The only thing that holds this game back a little bit is the fact that since the price is so low at $14.99, there's not like 50 mini games here to play or anything like that, or all of these different race types. So it is a little bit limited in that sense. I'm hoping that they add some DLC to this game, but what is here is a lot of fun. It's really unique for a Kirby game. It's like I said, the mini games are all fun. The race courses that you're going through are really cool designed, and it's not usually something that you see in other games. So I definitely think it is worth your time if you want to play a game like this, and it's a really good Kirby game. Kirby's Dream Buffet coming in at number 10. And the next one here coming in at number 9 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. So this is a game that a lot of us have been waiting for a long time, because it's obviously a sequel of sorts to the original arcade game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that we all love, the four player action, a side-scrolling brawler that we all know and love from back in the 90s and stuff from the arcades. And this is kind of a remaking of that game, and it's really, really good. A lot of people have praised this game, and I've had a ton of fun with it. The story mode is really cool. The action is really good. It's just like what you remember, with obviously better graphics and more characters that you can play as. And what's cool about the fact that you can actually play this on the Switch is that you can actually play all 6 characters at once, which is really, really cool. So because it has 6-player local multiplayer, which a lot of other systems don't have. So this is my favorite way to play it on the Switch when I have people over, because of that fact, and it's a ton of fun to play. So Shredder's Revenge coming in at number 9. The next one on this list coming in at number 8 is Nintendo Switch Sports. So Nintendo Switch Sports is, of course, a sequel of sorts to Wii Sports that we all remember from the Wii days. And I think they did a pretty good job of kind of reminiscing about that, like playing bowling and stuff like that all over again. Kind of brings back those memories from the Wii. They recently added golf in a recent free update, which is really cool. They have soccer in the game. They have volleyball, which I used to love playing volleyball. And of course, tennis is also on here, one of the staples that, came out back in the day that people really love. And badminton is also on here, which is really cool. And then they have a sword play kind of game where you go 1v1 and dueling each other. So there's a good variety on here, and they finally have online play for all of these sports, which is really cool that you can play online and kind of rank up in the leaderboards. Of course, local multiplayer, though, is where this game is at, in my opinion. Being able to play like tennis and bowling and stuff with your friends, and kind of reminisce about playing this on the Wii, but just with better graphics and all that kind of stuff on the Nintendo Switch is a ton of fun, and I've had a ton of fun playing this with friends. So that makes Nintendo Switch Sports coming in at number 8. The next one on this list coming in at number 7 is Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. So this is a game that obviously was kind of rushed out since the last Pokemon game, so that's why it's not higher on this list, because there were some issues. There were some performance issues when it came out. They're obviously still patching that stuff, which is why it's not higher than some of the other games that are coming after on this list, but it's still a really good Pokemon game. It's an open world in a new Paldea region for Pokemon, and you can traverse this open world in all of these different vast lands. They have lakes, peaks, wastelands, small towns, cities, all this kind of stuff for you to explore. And of course, brand new Pokemon to be able to capture and, play with in an open world game like this. So I hope that they, kind of take the ideas from this game and kind of have more time to develop more games, because this game obviously came out really fast from the other Pokemon game that came out earlier this year. So you can tell that that's why there was a lot of issues with performance and bugs and all that kind of stuff when the game first dropped. But the underlying game is really, really fun. And as they patch out these issues that they have been doing, the game will become better and better, especially performance issues that people were having. But it's still on my list because it's still a really good Pokemon game, a brand new region to explore with online, gameplay, battling each other. All the core game things that make Pokemon fun are all still here in an open world setting. So that is why it still makes my number 7 Pokemon Scarlet. The next one on this list coming in at number 6 is Mario Strikers Battle League. Mario Strikers is literally a game that I've been waiting for to be a new version coming out since the original Wii and GameCube games that have come out before it. And this has almost everything that I really wanted. The core gameplay, which is the most important thing, is super fun and probably the most fun out of all the ones that I had since the GameCube days. Everything about it looks great. The graphics are obviously fantastic ever since they added all these characters in it recently with free updates. There's a lot of good things now, and a lot of characters to play with. You have the online mode, so you can finally play Mario Strikers online, which is all great. Again, the only caveat to this title that holds it back a little bit, or it would have been higher on my list because I like Mario Strikers that much, is the fact that they don't, the actual areas that you play in and stuff like that, they don't have the same thing that they used to do back in the GameCube days, where you actually got different things that made the arenas different, where you were playing on a lava land and you would actually have to deal with lava and all that kind of stuff that the GameCube had for the arenas. They still haven't added that here, and I hope that they add it in DLC, because that's really the only thing missing out of this package, because right now the arenas are just like a layer of graphics with no differences between each other except how they look. But the core gameplay is fantastic, and Mario Strikers is still a game I have fun with all the time, coming in at number 6. The next one on this list coming in at number 5 is Bayonetta 3. I mean, this is a game that we've been waiting for a long time, because it seems like it was announced years and years ago, and it finally has now come out for the Nintendo Switch. Of course, this is an action-adventure game. Obviously, it's a sequel to Bayonetta 2, and it's made by Platinum Games. A lot of us love Platinum Games, and it's obviously exclusive to the Switch, and it is just a fantastic game. It's everything that we all kind of wanted from the Bayonetta series, from the second one to this one. It's more of that Platinum Games action into the game. The story is fantastic, and it's really fun to play through. The only controversial thing that happened with this game is, of course, the fact that they changed the voice acting, the voice actor for Bayonetta. But other than that, the game itself is fantastic. The graphics are as good as they've ever been for a Nintendo Switch game, and the art style is everything that makes Bayonetta Bayonetta. It's very, very different and than anything else out there, and it fits it so well. And it's always a joy to play a game like this with this style of graphics and the action that are in this game. If you're a fan of the first and the second one, you're definitely going to like the third one, just like I did. Bayonetta 3 coming in at number 5. The next one on this list coming in at number 4 is Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. So, of course, this is a sequel to another game that we all know and love that kind of came out of nowhere when it first came out. We were like, wait, we're mixing Mario with Ubisoft Rabbids characters, and this is actually going to work. And on top of it, it's a strategy game, not a weird party game that they usually do with these characters. But when that game came out, it kind of blew everyone away, and this game kind of picks up exactly where that game left off as a sequel, and it amps up everything to even more. I mean, the graphics are even better than last time, even more varied than they were before, even more characters, even all new bosses again to go ahead and battle. It's just really, really well done. If you're into that strategic gameplay that was in the first game, but everything is just kind of amplified here in the second game. And for me, as a person that's not like the biggest puzzle fan in the world when it comes to gaming, the fact that in this one they kind of dialed down a little bit the puzzle solving, that may or may not be a knock for you, but for me it's awesome because I'm not really the biggest fan of puzzle games, so made the sequel even better for me. And the multiplayer in this is obviously fantastic, just like it was before, battling your friends and stuff. Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope coming in at number 4. The next one on this list coming in at number 3 is Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, yes, it's another Pokemon game on the list, but this one came out in the beginning of the year, right in January, and this is exactly the type of game I've been waiting for to be made with Pokemon that we all played on the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color. This is exactly how I want the Pokemon game to evolve, and I hope that this is their framework for, expanding upon this as it goes into the future for Pokemon games. And they kind of elevate this even more. But of course, it is the first open world Pokemon game that was created. And again, this is exactly what I wanted when I was a kid. I mean, being able to explore all these new lands, go anywhere you want to go, see Pokemon everywhere, grab them, all that kind of stuff. Exploring a whole new region that was created on here. Obviously the online multiplayer was really cool, where you can have battles with people online and meet each other and kind of have these giant battles trying to take down one of the big Pokemon together. All of this stuff was just super well done on here. It's definitely my favorite Pokemon game that's come out in a while because of all this. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it's exactly what I want a Pokemon game to be like in the future. And again, I hope that this framework continues for future games, because this is exactly the path that they need to be on. And I can't wait to see what they do when they come out with a sequel to this, or whatever the case may be, in 2 or 3 years' time, when they have more development time and, they take this idea even further. So, Pokemon Legends Arceus coming in for me at number 3. The next one on this list coming in at number 2 is, of course, Splatoon 3. So this is a game that obviously when the first one came out, I super loved. When the second one came out, I loved it again. No surprise there. But it was a game that came out really fast after the first one. So I believe it was only a year afterwards. And this one here had another year in development. And they put everything they could into this game. I mean, this has everything that I wanted everything to be. This is definitely my favorite of all 3 of them. The story's bigger, the open world, or not the open world, but the environment that you kind of start in, the hub world you want to call it, is better designed and better laid out. More fun to explore. The multiplayer is as fun as ever, with even more weapons to kind of introduce yourself to, that they added into this game that makes it more fun. Obviously, all the stuff that we love about Splatoon is all here. The wave-based mode that is in here is better than it was before. Everything about this game, in my opinion, is better than the 2 that preceded before it. It's kind of the epitome of all 3 of them, or both of them combined into one, and it's exactly what I want Splatoon to be. And Splatoon 3 is just a fantastic game. If you guys are fans of the Splatoon series, you definitely need to check out Splatoon 3, because you guys are going to really like it if you like the other ones. And I'm playing this all the time, and it's exactly how much fun I hoped it would be. Splatoon 3 coming in at number 2. And the number 1 game of the year for me, coming in at number 1, is definitely Kirby's Forgotten Land. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is exactly what I hoped a Kirby game would be, but everything about it is so perfectly well done. It's kind of like when I talked about Mario Odyssey in the couple of years past. This is kind of that for Kirby. It is such a good game. It has cooperative play, so you can play with a friend if you want to. But what really sets this game apart is the mouthful mode. The fact that you can actually eat real-world objects in the game and stuff like that to kind of get all these powerful new abilities, just like you think Kirby would. But when you eat like a mouthful, like real world objects, it lets you transform into these things and kind of give you a whole different experience in a Kirby game you haven't had before. Small example of that is basically like you eat a car and you transform into a car, and now you're in a driving game. You're playing a driving game in a Kirby game. There's so many more examples of things that you can do, and it makes all the levels feel unique, because every level you don't know what you're going to get hit with, because you don't know what object you're going to eat next, because the next object that you end up eating is going to completely transform how you play that level and what you're actually doing. So every level is so uniquely designed, so well designed, so much fun to play because of the way that the levels are all intricately designed. And it's definitely my favorite Kirby game I've ever played, that's for sure. And it's definitely up there as one of my favorite Nintendo games ever made, because like I said, the levels are so well designed, and they're all different from each other. You never know what you're going to be doing in the next turn or the next level of this game. So guys, if you guys are platforming fans or Kirby fans or into Mario type games and stuff like that, this is definitely a game you don't want to miss. It's so unique, so different. All the levels are so much fun. Definitely check out Kirby and the Forgotten Land, coming in as my number 1 game on the Nintendo Switch for the year 2022. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that list. There was a lot of good games that came out here on the Nintendo Switch this year, even ones that I haven't played yet, like I talked about earlier, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I know there's other RPGs that a lot of people like that have come out, so let me know what your favorite game of the year is for the Nintendo Switch down below in the comments. Maybe there's something that I missed. on this list, even if they weren't RPGs that I just never played or never thought of or haven't seen. And as usual, guys, if you guys have any questions, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.